What's up, guys? I am so sorry. It's been like 18 days since I've done a last video. It has been hectic. I would be lying if I say I just wasn't busy. Balls to the wall is what we could say. So, a couple weeks ago, a tree fell and landed in the center of my driveway and pressed on the power line to my shop. So, I cut the tree down. And the power line launched it toward me, and the tree hit my hand on the way down. No big deal. Swelled up. The other half thinks I broke my hand, so it was swollen, and if any slight of pressure whatsoever on the back of my hand, it was just excruciating pain. Well, the pain is starting to subside. It's been about 2 weeks for that. Then I sliced my wrist and then burned my hand right there. So it has been a hell of a couple weeks. Not to mention, the CNC literally has been nonstop. I am honestly very surprised that it hasn't broken down because it has been working longer than I have. So, literally, we got, and then all those up there and a lot more of what I've been cutting, including signs and other stuff. But my goal is to do one program a night, so the following day I could cut it on the machine. So 2 days ago I did a HK MK24 or MK23, sorry, with an X400. Just cut that, and then I programmed a USP 9 compact with the TLR3, and then cut that, and then programmed Smith & Wesson SD940 with the Amazon light, and I'm about to cut that. So it is absolutely crazy, and I figured to ease back into something, we're gonna do an easy build, but it's gonna be pretty cool because it is from H3 Customs and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and this brings me back to my childhood. So let's make an inside the waistband holster. Now this holster isn't going to be too bad. There's going to be one piece of blocking, technically two pieces. So if you didn't know, and is important to know as a holster maker, if you pick up a Canik firearm, for example, the TP9 SFX that we got right here, the button, the magazine release, the button has 3 different heights that you can get for it. So it's always good to block for the largest one, even if they don't have it or whatnot. Now, the Pale Horse mold that I have doesn't incorporate that, so I am going to add a piece of blocking. That way, we don't have to worry about this holster pushing that button. And another thing is this is going to have dual clips, so we're going to do dual RCS clips, and then the claw on there. So we are going to block it for RCS, and then the claw is going to mount the other RCS right below the trigger guard. So it's going to be pretty easy build. You know what? Let's just get to it. Now, the heat press is on. I did run a cycle, so this is actually pretty warm right here. But because we're doing a custom print, and I only have one Teflon, I'm going to go ahead and get a second Teflon because we're going to sandwich that custom print in between the Teflon. That way, the print does not go onto our foam that we have right here because it will transfer to lighter colors, which means I will see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the next like 5 or 10 holsters, depending on the color. And I don't know about you, but I don't want that. Now, this is a right hand inside the waistband, so blocking is actually going to be pretty easy. Now, when you put your RCS on your mold, it's going to line up right where the retention plug is, the little piton hanging out right here. So we're going to go ahead, and we're going to line that right there. And the reason why I'm putting this on the angle instead of flat up like this is 2 things. So if we have this right here, there's going to be no bushing underneath that. This is going to have a bushing, so there's going to be like a 1/2 inch difference. Now, if I put it so it's angled like this, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a difference, but it's going to actually help with the concealment and holding it against your body. So we're going to line these 2 up with these 2 holes right here, and that looks pretty good right there. So let's go ahead and get this right in place. And poke those holes so air can escape. And move down a little bit. I don't want it to move down. There we are. All right, so that's it for that. Now, this is right-handed, which means that the magazine on the left side is going to have to be raised. So we got this right here. This one's going to go right about yay. So you could do it whatever you want. We could do it this way. We could do it this way. We could square it up and do it this way. I'm probably going to square it up only because it is a square setup. So we're going to put this in a little bit more than what we need so we have plenty of clearance. And when you're vac forming, just be mindful that anything you have hanging off the back of your mold, like past this, is going to be a pain in the butt. Oh, and I just ruined that piece of tape. Even though, let's see here, it's going to get cut off. There we are. All right, and that's literally it. I'm going to go ahead. Let's heat up. Ooh, excuse me. We're going to go ahead and heat up our Ninja Turtles, which, look at that. That's awesome. Now, this did come from H3 Customs. Jared down there. I'm not sure if he's running a sale right now, but there is Black Friday coming. So I know a lot of companies are doing their sales already. But go ahead and, yeah, this is absolutely phenomenal. We end up getting two of them because we're doing a mag carrier as well. But that is just gorgeous. So let's get this in the heat press. All right, we are in the press. Once this reaches 370, we'll pull it. And we are already set up here. Fence is all set. We're going to pull this when it's ready. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. That's great. That is a pretty epic camo. I'm not going to lie. Whoa. It is out. It looks absolutely awesome. This is, reminds me of like a, no pun intended, but a reptile print. But it looks pretty freaking sweet. However, I got a piece of blocking stuck. So it did wrap around the backside and wrapped around the front. So that ain't coming out. So when I cut this right here, I'll cut this part out and then I'll slide it out. No big deal. It happens time to time. I'm not worried whatsoever. But I do have a trim jig for this. So let's go ahead, get it on the bandsaw, get it on the router, and we can get this out. And then I got to do a mag carrier. But my mag carrier doesn't allow for cant. And this gentleman's asking for cant. So I have a little tip on how to do adjustable cant on a mag carrier. So stay tuned for that. Ooh, I think it's funny. I had a drill in his mouth. Now, with eyelets pressed in right there for strength, and obviously we're trimmed, rounded edges, it's time for the 800 grit sanding disc from Holstersmith, and that's just right on this guy. Not that bad. Turn it on, zing it, good to go. Really easy, but 800 grit. The one that's like 1/2 inch or just under 1/2 inch, 0.4, whatever it is on there, that's the one I use because the other one is 1.1 inches. And it's a little too big to get into the small nooks and crannies. Just FYI. Now it's the best thing ever as a Kydex holster manufacturer. It is assembly. So let's go ahead and get this going. The fold looks awesome. The holster is looking good. All right, so the top one, that's easy. So that's 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch. So let's go ahead and get, whoop. I didn't want to do that. The further they are, the harder they are. Especially with fat fingers. All right, so easy way that I do it is I'll take the screw, throw it on the gun, put it in there, and hold that, hit the trigger, and inside it goes. So now, you don't have to worry about it pushing through. There we are. Let's parallel that up. Bada bing, bada bing. That's as low as that's going. There's no screw protruding, so it's not going to hit the slide. Now, for this setup, we are right-handed, so let's get this guy in here. So generally when I do dual IWB clips, I put them right next to each other, like so. But not enough room in this case. There isn't a lot of real estate to do dual, and it is what it is. So, but there's plenty of room to do that, and that's going to even it out quite a bit, or balance it, I should say. So we're going to do our pass-throughs. I'm going to throw these guys on here. Now, I don't know if these are going to be too long, but this is a 1-inch screw, so we're going to see if that's too long, because my options are 1 inch or 3/4. Now, that's 1 inch, and this right here is 3/4. So we're going to see which one is going to be better for the setup, and I think it's going to be the 3/4. Yep, so it's going to be 3/4. Okay, so I'll go ahead and remove this, and we're going to have to make sure that our hardware is fine. There we go. We'll go ahead and get the same 3/4. Now, these right here are 3/4 of an inch. Oh, that's a lot shorter than that other one, so that other one must have been... Alright. Let's get some right screws here. Well, it turns out I didn't hit record, but we have these mounted up. We found the right size screws. We got the rest of the hardware in and tightening up the flathead side. Alright. And then there we are right there. So next is the mag carrier, but look at that. Looks good. Now for the mag carrier, because it is a certain style magazine, depends on which mold we make. Now, if I was a few years younger, Iggy, in this business, I'd be like, okay, this is a double stacked magazine, so I'm gonna have to use a double stacked 940 357 SIG mold for the Glock 19 mag, which is a double stack. Now, what you may not know, or if you're relatively new to this, it is not gonna work. Because if you take a Glock 19 double stack mag and you put it up against a steel double stack mag, it is thicker. You can see right there, the part sticking out. It is a lot thicker than normal. Why is that? Because these are polymer. Inside the polymer, there's a steel skeleton inside for strength. So these are wider. So if you have a Glock-based setup for a mold, it's not going to work on this. So I have here a Glock-based mold. This is actually for the 1.5 stack Hellcat 43X or SIG P365. So I just happen to have a 43X magazine here. It's a, what are these clear ones? ETS mags. I don't like them, but some people think they're cool, whatever. I only have it because I think I paid 20 bucks for it, and I use it for test fits. But as you can see, they are exactly the same. So you are going to use a 1.5 stack for anything that is steel 9mm double stacked or 40. So we're going to do that. Now, this particular gentleman wants to be able to cant this magazine. So if you're not familiar with cant, it is the tilt of the belt clip. Now, with this particular setup, because it's kind of short, it's going to go halfway up the mag, I'm going to extend it a little bit. And by that, I mean I'm not going to really use the top of the trim jig. I'm just going to use the bottom of the trim jig, and we'll cut it ourselves. But generally what I would do is I would take an 1/8 inch rubber spacer, this right here, and I would put it underneath it and tape it there with double-sided tape. And now what that would do is it would give us enough clearance to go ahead and use this for blocking. So you could put another Chicago screw in there or a threaded post, and you'll have the room to do that. So for example, you see these holes right here. Well, those are lined up. So if I want to use a tech lock, we can use a tech lock on this if you want to do that particular style belt clip. So this, because there's so much room above it, we're going to drill out these, and then we're going to drill out a set of holes above it. So I'm not even going to modify this. This is going to be perfect the way it is. So let's throw number 2 in there so we could have a matching set. If you get tenting every now and then, I'll show you how to get rid of that. Get a bar, put it right where you usually tent, push down as it sucks. No more tent. Actually, that looks awesome. And this is an MRD setup, so we're going to do the 1/4 inch on the outside. And like I said, I'm not going to trim the top. I'm going to do that one by hand. I want to go into my desk. And let's get these. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna drill right above it, so you still have that ability to cant. Oh, helps if I get all the holes here. There we go. Go ahead and drill above those guys. It doesn't look too shabby. Just go slow and make it look like it's supposed to be there. Alright, let's get our trim jig. Now, this is part where it could be kind of crappy and you could destroy what you're working on. Now, luckily, I cut this piece in half, so if I mess this up, I have another piece to work with. But all I'm going to do is cut the very top and then work my way down, which means when I put this on the trim jig, I have to stop right here on the router. Because if I don't, I'm screwed. So let's go ahead. I'll get this cut out. And I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty happy I didn't mess it up, unlike this one right here, where my mold cuts in right here, as you can see. And I completely forgot about it when I cut this Bodyguard 2.0. So now I got to figure out how to save it. I might cut here and then cut around and heavily discount it. We'll see. If someone's interested in that, let me know. Shoot me a comment. And I'll finish it and send it out to you for a lot less than what I normally go for. All right, so with this, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll you know, match these up, make them look good. I'll probably do that after I fold it. So let's go ahead, buff the edges real quick. Same thing, the 800 grit wheel, and then we're gonna fold on the MRD. So with that. So go ahead and do that real quick. All right, now with this all set, for the most part, let's get a couple things in there. Get going. I'll show you what I do with the MRDs. All right, so first thing to do, if you don't stock the MRD post, you have to drill out the MRDs, because these posts are thicker. Throw that in there. There we go. Throw these guys in. These are both 1/2 inch, so those are 1/4. Okay. All right, now with that being said, in and out, no problem. Let's fix this guy. So I'll just continue up, and then finish this right here. So no big deal. We'll just get that hook out of there. And with that being all set, we're gonna put this together. So the end result is as follows. So this being here, they could boom, boom, so they could adjust the cant however they want. I'm not aware if this is going to be worn inside or outside, but I'm going to assume outside the waistband or inside the waistband. So let's set it up, because I know he wanted bullets to the rear. Now with these MRDs, the back of the magazine goes against that, so bullets to the rear is this way, and inside the waistband will be mounted on here. And he wants it canted. I'm assuming it's cant forward. All right, so that means it'll be like that on the inside. So let's get that in there. On the top one, top left, this one's gonna be bottom right. This is gonna be like so. Right. Now, very, very, very important, do not forget the set screw, which is the same size as Safariland, by the way, for the Allen. And what the set screw does is it allows you to set the retention however you'd like it. Here we go, starting to hit. Back it off a little bit. Seems good right there. So there we have an inside the waistband with a canted, this is a 18 rounder or 20 rounder. And then we have the matching inside the waistband with RCS. And it came out awesome. So there we are. Well, there we have it, folks. These holsters came out absolutely awesome. And I'm not going to lie, Jared at H3 Customs, you can visit him anytime you want. This is what he does. He doesn't do holsters. He's not competition to anybody. He does sublimation. Now, I do sublimation in-house. This guy, if you order at any point during the day, it goes out the same day. The guy is a beast. His team is amazing. Highly, highly recommend H3 Customs if you don't do it yourself. Now, there are still times where I can't get images or they don't come out right. I will still order them from Jared. So the guys are phenomenal over there. So make sure you give them a shout and give them some love. But we got this Ninja Turtle, which this is listed on their website as well. And this is heading out tomorrow morning. And I hope you guys picked up a trick or two. I know I've done a lot of inside the waistband basic builds on here, but with the Canik SFX, especially with the whole series that you have to add extra blocking on the Pale Horse molds because of that, or at least the older ones. And then tenting on the mag carrier. If you hit right where the tent would be with a piece of material or wood, whatever, that is just as wide as the gap that you're trying to push down to stop the tenting, it will 100% eliminate it. And obviously the trick with the size of the mags, that a 1.5 stack is what you need for a double stack steel mag. So I hope you learned a couple things and write them down, put them in your little black book of what to do in this business. But it is, it's 9:30, it's early, and I've done quite a bit. This machine actually shut off just before, where is the cut that I just did? So that machine just shut off. So I scanned a USB compact with the TLR3 that's bolted directly to it, and I was able to come up with this. Now the reason why I put tape on it is because, well, there was a knot right there, and that knot had the split all the way down it. It happens, but this is a one-time holster, so I'm not worried about it. So I put that there so the Kydex doesn't suck down into the crack of this once we do it, because those kill you. But that ended up over here. So we'll see how this fits. I got the retention set up right here. I think it's going to be good. So the retention is going to be right in here. That's going to be for another day or maybe later on tonight. But I have a lot of stuff to do, and I keep pushing it. I got rid of foam pressing, so all those I'm going to sell off eventually. I'm replacing them with either blue guns or whatever. And so this year, January, I removed all of them, and I figured that'll help me with the lead time. Now that is helping, but right now what's killing me is doing all the stuff for this machine. Now it's building what I need to build for the library to get up to snuff. But it is what it is. It's going to take a little time, but I'm starting to move faster. So I did a light bearing program in about an hour. So I was happy with that. And then the cut time. So if I have 50 orders in all technicality of custom builds, I could do one program a day and then one cut a day. And then just keep doing that at the rate it's going, because that build right there with the USP, that was on the machine for like 6 hours. So I'm kind of limited on what I can do speed wise with one machine, but it's getting there. And now I physically have the mold to go on for the next one. So for example, I have an echelon with PL2 coming up. I have 2 orders for that. So once I built that, then 2 orders are out the door. So a little bit of wait right now for customs. And I know you guys are super patient, and I absolutely love you guys for that. And it is a blessing to know that you guys are waiting for this quality. And I just can't be thankful enough. Also, thank you to Holster Smith and Knife Kits. They just had a deal for Veterans Day, I think it was, whatever this past holiday was. It was a one-day sale, so if you didn't get in on that, better luck next time. We'll see if they do a Black Friday one. I don't know if they are. and we'll see what goes on from there. But a huge shout out to Holster Smith. I appreciate everything you do, especially for keeping this place stocked with everything I need, and I appreciate you guys. We hit 16,000 subscribers. I still haven't done a giveaway for 15,000 and obviously the 16,000, but I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to do, and it's going to cost a little over $100, and I'm giving it away. So I just want to make sure I have all my ducks in a row before I go ahead and get the purchase and do everything like that, and then do the video and give it to one of you guys. So I got something coming down the pipe that you guys are going to love, and it's going to help you guys out a lot, and then maybe eventually in the long run, I will carry it. But I have a lot of orders to do. It's early. I'm going to edit this video, get it out to you guys. I'm going to have a couple more builds in me. I'm going to knock those out, and I have a shop update I'm going to do in a different video. So on that note, I will see you guys later. Keep moving forward. Love you. Bye.